What is going on, everybody? Kwame here, and welcome back to another Escape from Tarkov Beginner's Guide video. This video is going to be something different than what I normally do compared to like your normal tips and tricks sort of tutorial videos. This tutorial video is going to be very different and very special. The reason why this video is going to be special is because I've been working on it for a very, very long time, probably more than a year or something like that, and it's about time I actually finished it and got the job done. So what this video is going to be about is it's going to be the blueprint for everyone who decides they want to improve at PvP in Escape from Tarkov. And this is not just aimed at beginners, it's aimed at the intermediate players and the advanced players too, for pretty much for anyone. Anyone who wants to improve their skills at PvP, I'm going to put all my knowledge into this video to guide you into how to improve your skills at PvP. And there's going to be a lot to talk about. And it's going to take me a while to explain the things, but I'm going to give you the layout of exactly what you need to do when you don't know what you're doing wrong yourself. So I'm going to be showing you the way of what you're supposed to be looking out for, and the things that you can improve on, so you can apply it to your own gameplay to improve your skills. If you're the type of player that keeps dying in your raids, you don't really know why you're dying, or why did that happen that way, or how did you lose that fight, these are the type of questions that you need to be asking yourself. And if you're that person, then this video is the one for you. This one's the video that's going to really help you out, man. I'm going to be sharing my knowledge and experience with you, and I'm going to show you how I learned to get better and improve my skills so I could beat the other players, and I'm going to teach you how to do the same. This blueprint is what you're going to be looking back on every single time something happens in PvP, so you can reflect on it and apply it to improve. This is going to be more or less my secret, if you want to call it that, of how I improved at PvP in Escape from Tarkov. I'm going to be showing you what I did, and I'm going to be teaching it to you. Some of you may already know this stuff, and that's totally fine. There is probably going to be something in here that you overlooked or you didn't even know about beforehand, so stick around and maybe you'll learn something. Alright, so by watching this video, this is what you're going to get out of it. You're going to learn what to look out for from here on in regards to PvP. You're going to understand your own mistakes and how to improve on them. You're going to have a better mindset on the PvP aspect. Why? Because I'm going to be telling you how to get better so you can kick the crap out of the other players. You're going to gain an understanding on how to take your game to the next level. And just by knowing this stuff, you're going to be ahead of the other players, of course. And to go with that, I will be doing what I normally do, which is I put up gameplay from my own previous broadcasts, and we're going to use that as a reference so we can talk about it, we can analyze it, we can break it down, and to give you guys a better understanding of what I'm actually trying to explain to you. Don't forget to like and subscribe for future content, as there will be more videos like this one in the future. And subscribing to the channel does help me out quite a bit, guys, so thank you to everyone who has, and thank you all for the support so far. I do appreciate it. Don't forget to drop by the live stream and say hello sometime, which is where I get all my footage from, and that is at twitch.tv/Kwame. All other details will be in the description box below. Now that we got all that stuff out of the way, guys, let's get into it. Alright, so first things first, guys. I need to get this out of the way before we get into the bulk of the video. I would like to point out that some of the footage in my clips that I'll be using will be fairly old footage, but there is a reason for that. I've been trying to improve at PvP in this game for a long time, and because I'm a Twitch livestream broadcaster, I have the ability to go back in my VODs, which are my previous broadcasts, to look back on my gameplay in order to learn from my mistakes. Some of the footage may even be clips from like point 10 or something, for all I know, but that's the point that I'm trying to make. That is the point. That is how long I have been going back and looking back on my gameplay in order to improve. And you should be doing the same. Now, I know that not everyone watching this video is going to be a broadcaster and be able to look back on their gameplay. Some people record their gameplay and they do this so they can watch it back, or they can use it for, I don't know, whatever other reasons, maybe put it up on YouTube or something. And this is actually a really good thing to do, to record your gameplay. If you don't do this, I would certainly recommend that you do. But if you don't do this, it's totally fine. Just try your best to remember what happened in that raid and the circumstances to the best of your ability. I'll explain why this is important and relevant later on. So for you guys who are just starting out and you don't really know where is what on the maps, you don't have a good feel of the gunplay, you're not used to getting into fights with players or scavs for that matter, you don't really know how weapon modding works, first thing I'm going to recommend for players like you is to keep playing, man. Keep playing and keep gaining experience and keep getting used to how the game works, like aiming and movement and all that sort of stuff, yeah? Experience does go a long way, but it isn't the be-all and end-all in this game. And I say that because I know heaps of people who have come up to me and said to me, they said stuff like, hey, I've got 1,500 hours in this game, so I know what I'm doing. But they're still dying most of their raids. They are still losing the majority of their fights when they shouldn't be. So having X amount of hours in this game doesn't mean jack. What matters is if you have the ability to learn from your mistakes or not, and understand why you're losing your gunfights. And that's proof of that. Obviously, if they have 1,005 hours in the game, and they're still making the same mistakes, obviously, they don't learn from their mistakes, right? And that's why they don't improve or get better, because they are not figuring out what the hell is going wrong. It is really important that you be honest with yourself and stop making excuses. And I'm just going to throw this out there, guys, just because someone's going to mention it, surely. Survival rate doesn't mean jack. It don't mean nothing. Absolutely nothing. Why does it not mean anything? Let me put it to you this way. Who is better at PvPing in this game? The player running towards the gunshots, trying to get into as many fights as he possibly can, and obviously he's putting himself more at risk than the average player, of course. And also he'll be dying more because he's constantly getting into more gunfights, right? Or the player who just sits there in a bush waiting for people to shoot them in the back. The answer should be pretty goddamn obvious. Which player is better at PvPing? If you're the type of player who can only take fights when you have the advantage or when there is very low risk involved, then you're not going to improve at PvP all that much in this game. You're going to have to learn to take risks and make a play. Now, by that, I am not suggesting whatsoever that you act like it's Call of Duty and just run around everywhere. If that's your play style though, to run around and just shoot things like your Rambo, then that's up to you. That's totally fine. Play the way that you want to play, yeah? But for most people, this is not the case. People don't want to play this game like that, and they don't play the game like that. They're very more play it very more cagey, more passive, very selective with what they want to do and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not going to suggest just run around and go crazy. What I am going to suggest is that you analyze the current situation, figure out your plan of attack, and make a play. Don't just sit there and hope that the player that you're fighting with is just going to randomly reveal himself to you and you're just going to get an easy kill. It's not going to happen, man. Like, come on. Make the play, do something about it. Even if the play that you decide to make gets you killed, don't worry about it. At least you tried something and you took a risk. And maybe at the time you thought it was a good idea and it doesn't work out. Don't worry about it. What's important is that you actually tried something, and when it doesn't work out, figure out why it didn't work. That's the key. Figure out why it didn't work, okay? And then you can add that into your gameplay, what you would do next time, and when you're in that situation again, you'll have a better idea of what the hell you're supposed to do. Alright, so now we got all the prelim stuff out of the way. Now we can get into the bulk of the issue and what you're all here for. Okay, so knowing all this stuff that I just explained, I can now tell you my secret or my blueprint of how I improved at PvP so much. So here it is. You ready? It's the magic question you all need to be asking yourselves from here on in, and you should be asking asking this question to yourself every single time you die in this game. You have to figure out why you died. It's that simple. Every time you die or get killed in this game, you have to ask yourself, alright, what the hell happened? Why did I die? How did I get killed there? I've even got the formula to give you guys so you can figure out on your own why you died. The reason why you die so much comes down to one of three things, and sometimes it's even a combination of these things. So the three reasons why you've been dying comes down to your aim, map knowledge, or movement. Now, I know what some of you are already going to say. I can feel it already. But Kwame, what about positioning? Shouldn't that be one of the main reasons? Well, to you people, you're not wrong, but you're also not 100% right. Positioning is a combination of map knowledge and movement. It's like a mixture of the two. But it's mostly map knowledge because for you to know to be in that spot or in that position in the first place without having map knowledge, like, it's impossible. How could you know to be in that particular spot waiting for someone if you didn't know about it in the first place? Let me give you an example. Let's say you're on customs and you hear a gunfight and it sounds like an AK or something on the road, and you're like, oh boy, you're like, oh, I'm gonna fight that, I'm gonna get that guy, and you hear him, he gets into a fight, so he's busy, and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna get ahead of him and I'm gonna wait on the hill, because he has to run to dorms, right? Chances are he's going to run to dorms. So then you run up on the hill in front of him, you're lying in wait, and there he comes, running up, and then bickety bam, you take him out when he runs out in the open, easy peasy. That's what I'm talking about. You would have to know that in the first place to even be in that spot. That's the point that I'm trying to make. And also, let me make this very clear. I know you die very easily, especially when you're killed due to lag, desync, stuttering, cheaters, bugs. For example, Jesus, the bugs. Don't even get me started on the bugs. But man, it happens to everyone. I am not talking about those issues where you die and it is beyond your control. That is to do with the game, or in the cheater's case, it's a cheater. Like, what the hell are you supposed to do about it? But when I'm talking about trying to improve your skills, I'm talking about what you can do for yourself when you're actually taking a fight with another player and how you can beat him. That's what I'm talking about. Don't worry about the times when the game just lags or just skips an entire beat and then all of a sudden you're just dead and you're just like, what the hell? Don't worry about that stuff, man. It happens to everyone, happens to the best of us. There's nothing you can do. It's beyond your control. Just shrug your shoulders. Don't even get upset. The worst thing you can do is get pissed off and start, getting angry, because getting angry, it's not going to help you. It is not going to help you improve whatsoever. Those people who always get angry and frustrated, those type of players will have the most trouble trying to improve because they're always getting mad and getting upset and they can't have a clear mind to be able to look at the actual issue of why they died. So back to the three main reasons of why you're dying. If you are missing your shots and you can't trace your enemies properly, that means you need to work on your aim. If you get killed by someone who's sitting up in a tower and you didn't check that spot, that means you need to work on your map knowledge. Get to know your maps, learn all the spots that these players can be sitting in or hiding in. If you slow peeked a corner against a player who you knew was sitting there down a dark hallway, for example, and he easily shoots you in the face because you slow peeked him, that means you need to work on your movement. I hope I'm starting to make sense here. In regards to your aim, if you feel like you need to work on your aim because you're missing a lot of shots, part of it could very well be your sensitivity. And so someone might be asking, what should your sensitivity be? Honestly, I'm going to say it's whatever you're comfortable with. That's what I tell everyone who comes into the channel and asks me what sensitivity do I use? Should I use the same? No, you shouldn't use what I use. I consider myself a high sensitivity player, meaning the mouse moves very fast, but this is what's comfortable for me. I can perfectly trace a player when he's running left to right with my sensitivity, and I can put the crosshair on him and I probably won't miss a shot on him. So that's what you need to do. You need to find the sensitivity that's right for you, where you can place the crosshair. For example, the player moving left to right, that you can leave the crosshair on him pretty damn close to not missing a damn bullet on him. And also with your flicks, when you flick the mouse to say someone just appears around the corner and you flick for the headshot, just make sure that it's very, very accurate on him. Whatever that sensitivity is, that it's comfortable where you flick and it's dead on his head. Okay? So whatever that is, low sense, high sense, it's up to you. It's what you're comfortable with. Don't just use what you hear a top tier player is using. He uses high sense, so I should use high sense or low sense. Use what you're comfortable with, man. Just stick with that. And don't change your sensitivity to what another player that you know of is using, because that won't feel natural to you. Alright, now it's time to get into some examples so you know what I'm talking about. One final thing I'd like to add before we get into the first example here is, in every situation, there is almost always something you could have done differently. I'm going to say that one more time in case you missed it. There is almost always something you could have done differently. And that's what you have to figure out. What you could have done differently in those scenarios, so then you can apply it next time when you're in that situation to your gameplay. Alright, this is going to be the first example. We're going to watch it back, we're going to analyze it, we're going to break it down, and then we're going to figure out why we died. Oh man, I remember I remember this like it was just yesterday. Jesus. This clip was from so long ago, and like for some reason I never forgot this one. I don't know why, but I guess it's one of those ones that just pissed me off. And I'll just never forget it, man. I'll never forget it. It was so dumb what I did. It was so stupid. Anyway, so I hear this player on the hallway to my left, directly to my left on the other side of the wall. So he's coming from that the computers where all that stuff is, and I make a boo-boo, as you'll see in a second. Oh, there he is. He's laying down. Scare the shit out of me. Alright, so let's ask ourselves the question, guys. What happened? Why did we die? Was it aim, map knowledge, or movement? I feel like this one is actually pretty straightforward. It clearly wasn't my aim because I didn't get a chance to aim. So, therefore, was it map knowledge or movement? I actually think it's kind of both. Map knowledge and movement. Let me explain why. With map knowledge there, I should have known the terrain a little bit more, and I should have known that some areas on Interchange are a little bit darker than others, and just by looking at that clip, you can see that it's not exactly easy to see his exact position. And by the time I figured it out, before I could even react, he already had killed me. Like, it's just a really easy kill for him. From his point of view. So for us, I should have known that, and that it wasn't a good idea to peek him there at all. So let's talk about movement now. By peeking the way that I did around that corner, it was just a really easy kill for him because he's already laying prone, right-clicked, ADS'd in with his crosshair on that corner. So it's the second that I came out, all he's got to do is click, and that's it. All he has to do is click. It's the easiest kill of his life. If he messed that up, then he has to be very, very not good. I don't know how else to say that, but it's just a super easy kill for him. Well, in our shoes, for us, we would have to look, by picking that corner, we would have to look at that entire area just to find his location, and then we'd have to ADS, and then we'd have to put the crosshair on him, and then we'd have to click. Well, all he has to do is just click on that corner. You get me? It's just a bad peek. So, what do we do about it? I think in future, what you should be doing is definitely carrying grenades. If we got grenades on us, we can throw it around that corner. That would force the player to stand up from his position and run away from the grenade. And when he's doing that, we can listen in for when he stands up and then peek around the corner and then shoot him while he's on the move. And it's a really easy counter kill for us. But just peeking around the corner without throwing a grenade, it's basically a free kill for him. If you don't have grenades, which I obviously recommend that you carry at least 4 on you, I've always said this. If you want to go buck wild like Landmark and carry like 10, then you do that. But I suggest when you're around level 30 to level 40, start carrying grenades on you, and I would say at least 4. If you don't have grenades, I think honestly the best thing to do is not to take that fight. At least not yet. Just back up, because he's holding that, and you have to get him to move. You have to get him to not be looking at that corner. So you could try jiggle peeking him, shoulder peeking him, try and get him to make a move, but he's still holding that angle, and we still have to look for him. It's not a good idea. I think the best play would obviously be if you don't have grenades, is to back up, maybe try and reposition, try and flank around, maybe come up behind him, or maybe go down the escalators near the front of the idea store and come up the other escalators to try and get a shot on him. But even that's risky to do that. But it is better to do that than to do what I just did there and just slow peek around the corner like, hey, how's it going? And then he just face taps you. So that's the first example. Let's move on to the next one. Alright, so on to example number 2. This is one of those situations where I feel like it is very common, and this will happen fairly often to every player that plays this game. And some people can be easily confused or misguided about what you should do to fix this issue. So, I'm planning to go to the computers to loot, most likely for graphics cards and other electronic goods, when I hear a player already in there. I get a bit distracted by the scav on my left, so I'm kind of just out in the open between two enemies. The player in the back shelving area, he actually does a really good play here. He closes the door without exposing himself too much. Like he doesn't just stand out in the middle of the doorway, exposing himself and then close the door. He pretty much just shoulder peeks it and closes it, and then it's actually a lot safer play most of the time. And I decided to try and take shots at him during this timing, but it was very tough to kill him because I only saw him for a split second. Well, now he's aware of my presence, so I decided to make a play. Oh.
Мы стрелять не хотим, мы так наблюдаем!
Wow, he just appeared out of nowhere. I thought he ran down there somewhere. Alright, you guys know the drill. What happened? Why did we die? Was it aim, map knowledge, or movement? The answer here is movement. There is nothing wrong with running straight in there, but it's the way that I did it and the pathing that I took which really messed me up. I even tried to ADS when I was right in front of him, which was a huge mistake. In those situations, because my movement was so bad, I panicked and I tried to right click to put the crosshair on him when I probably should have just point fired instead with my gun, since he was so close to me. But in regards to actual movement, do you see where I stopped running? When I entered past the double doors, I kind of stopped running and just used regular walking speed. That is a mistake right there. I should have either have kept running down to the left of that pathing, or I should have kept going the way I was going and ran past that player. Either one of those two would have worked, but probably to the left would have been safer. See right here? This is what I'm talking about. See how I kind of just stop here and then I just kind of just continue to use a regular walking speed? Here, I should have just kept running to the left of me right here, inside the shelving area, or I should have just kept going the way I was going and just ran past him. Both of these work a lot of the time, but going to the left here would have been safer because I could run in, stop and listen in for where he is. Chances are, because he hears me running right at him, he's going to make a sound. I would then know 100% that he's on the other side of the wall, which I should have known anyway, let's be honest, but nevertheless, here we are. And then I could come around the corner and pre-fire him and take him out of the game. Or I could even shoulder peek him. That would have worked just fine too. Start jiggle peeking him, trying to get him to come out from the corner over there, and I could take him out. But I did none of that. I just walked right at him like a goose, and then he killed me. He caught me off guard. So GG's to him. And yeah, that's what we should have done in the future in that situation. Okay, on with example number 3. This is another fairly common situation that will happen to all players, but yet people still don't know what they should be doing about it. And I know this particular scenario will seem very familiar to a lot of people who are watching this. I believe I'm attempting to do my Mosin quests and I end up getting shot in the back by a player who has a long-range Mosin. He knows that I have ran behind this rock, and I attempt to peek him in the hopes to find his position. I try to maneuver around the rock to get a different angle, but it doesn't seem to be working. And this is how it turns out. That's bogus. He can see me there, wherever he's at. Can't see him. I do need to reposition, I just don't know where. I can't see him! I cannot see him! Alright guys, you know the drill by now. Why did we die? Was it aim, map knowledge, or movement? This is, without a doubt, movement. I should have just kept running, man. I should just kept moving. Everything would have been fine. Just a heads up, if you ever start getting shot by someone and you don't know his exact location, but you know of the general area and the vicinity of where that player is, don't keep trying to peek him from the same spot when he's already taking shots at you, let alone he's already hit you a couple of times. Your best bet in these scenarios is to retreat and back up and immediately change your location. When you relocate, chances are from the position that he's in, he's not going to be able to keep shooting you if you relocate. So for him to keep shooting at you, he's going to have to relocate himself. You know what I mean? So don't do what I did here and just act like a goose and try and dance around this rock, because you'll just get killed easily, just like how I did here. Alright guys, this is the final clip we got for the video today. This one's a pretty interesting situation that we got here. This doesn't happen all the time, and it doesn't happen very often. It's a little bit tricky, but you understand afterwards why I felt like this is relevant. So anyway, I'm doing my usual runs on Shoreline. I'm looting rooms and such, as you do on Shoreline. And I end up hearing a squad of players rolling up, so I decide to take them on. And then I end up making a vital mistake. And I'll let you guys see it. I'll let it play it out so you can see it for yourself. Nothing, ain't nothing there. Okay. Oh. Hello, boys. Oh, are there? Oh, that sucks, dude. That's not what you want, man. That's not what you want. Thank you, Ty. Thank you. Ah, oh, come on! There was a third guy! Yeah, that was pretty stupid. So, what happened, guys? Why did we die? Come on, it was obvious. Let's hear it. Is it map knowledge, aiming, or movement? And the answer is map knowledge and movement, but mostly map knowledge. Let me explain why. Never under any circumstance do you try and fix your limbs when you haven't cleared the entire area. it is never safe to fix your limbs when you haven't cleared. And there I am, just sitting there at the scene of the crime, right next to it, just fixing my limbs like it was a good idea. We even heard other gunshots not too far from us, and so that tells us that we're not the last players on the map, right? So I still went ahead and did it, which is a huge mistake. Anyway, so this falls under map knowledge because I should have known to clear every single room near me, including the hallways, which I didn't. I know there are a heap of rooms close by, which I have not cleared, and yet I ignored them. And this also falls under movement because I shouldn't be healing right next to the scene of the crime. What I should have done was either A, cleared the rest of the rooms, or B, ran down the hallway and get the hell away from the scene and go into a room, shut the door, and fix my limbs there. But honestly, I think option A is probably best. I can understand healing the thorax and the head before engaging in the next fight, but I didn't need to fix the arm. So in my opinion, this is enough to take on another fight, especially when you got a close range weapon like I do. Like in this clip, I've got an MP7. I can point fire the majority of the time and I'll be fine. So yeah. Alright guys, that's all I got for you today, and that's the end of the video. I hope this was useful in some way, and I hope this expands your knowledge about how you improve at PvP in Escape from Tarkov. This blueprint is what I use all the time and has worked out pretty well for me so far. Just remember, this is all my own opinion and it's based around my experience, and this is what I did to improve in Escape from Tarkov. I plan to keep doing videos that revolve around mostly PvP and how you improve at PvP in the near future. I just want to say thank you to everyone who stuck around until the end, and don't forget to like the video if you liked it, and leave a comment down below if you want me to do more videos like this one. And remember to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done that already. Subscribing to the channel does help me out quite a bit, guys, so I would greatly appreciate it if you did. Don't forget to stop by the live stream sometime and say hello. I stream 5 to 6 times a week at twitch.tv/Kwame. All other details will be in the description box below. I hope you all learned something. Thank you all for watching, and hopefully I'll see you on the live stream.